Hello, travelers. So today we're gonna kick off our brand new series of the Monster Manuals by introducing a creature that we all know, the ogres. Now I know when we say these days when we say ogres, we all think about our good old green buddy Shrek. Now, although Shrek is an ogre, big, green, stinky, smelly, um, will grind your bones to the bread, grind your bones and make his bread. No, actually, I think that one's giants. Point is, before dragons ruled the skies, before vampires stalked the night, there was another kind of monster. A monster that looked almost human. Now, across centuries of folklore, the ogre appears again and again, towering creatures, massive and brutal, and usually very, very hungry. And their favorite meal? Humans. Ugh. Now, the word ogre became popular in European fairy tales, especially in the stories collected by the French writer Charles Perrault. In these stories, ogres were giant green man-eating beings who lived in castles or deep forests. They were often powerful, greedy, and often incredibly cruel. But the idea behind the ogre is much older than those fairy tales. In many cultures, stories about giant human-like creatures that prey on people were prominent. In Japan, we had the Oni, terrifying ogre-like demons with horns and incredible strength. And and they were always known for causing mischief and feasting on humans. Different cultures, different names, but the same monster. Even in Greek mythology, one can classify the Cyclops as a similar variant to the ogre. But that raises an interesting question. Why do humans keep bringing up this monster, the ogre? Unlike dragons or sea serpents, ogres aren't forces of nature. They don't represent storms or ocean or cosmic chaos. They represent something much closer. They represent the fear of humans becoming monsters. Think about how ogres behave in stories. They're greedy, they hoard wealth, food, and power. They devour without restraint, with the sole exception of our good friend Shrek. Ogres are in many ways monsters. That's why ogres appear in so many stories to warn, to teach children lessons and warn of the evils. They're warnings about greed, warnings about cruelty, warnings about what happens when someone stops seeing other people as humans. The ogre is not terrifying because it's powerful, it's terrifying because it's familiar. Now, ogres appear in many myths and legends. For example, the myths of Puss in Boots, or the clever cat is meant to fight off an ogre that lives in a castle to secure a fortune for his master. Then the idea shows up again and again in storytelling. The monsters that devour everything, that eventually devours itself. It's only in modern days that our perceptions of ogres has shifted slightly, mainly with the introduction of Shrek. Although in the beginning, Shrek is portrayed as a stereotypical ogre, over time we learn that there's more layers to him. Now again, this brings back the human aspect. However, it does lead us to wonder, do ogres really have layers? Or are they simply mindless beasts after all? That is a question for another video. Until then, like and subscribe and tell us what you think of this new series. Next up, trolls. Till next time.